For everyone, there's a taste of food or a smell of cooking that zooms you right back to childhood.
It's just like my mum's cake.
I'm Brian Turner.
It reminds me of someone I used to know at school, doesn't it?
And I'm going to stir up the food memories of some much-loved celebrities.
Oh, look at that.
Going back to their early days before they were famous.
Oh, my gosh.
With recollections of Sunday roasts and school dinners.
It's time for something to eat.
Brilliant.
And celebrating food their home regions are proud of.
Which way would you like to go?
This way.
I'll recreate a nostalgic family favourite.
You can't beat a crumble.
And a tribute dish that puts my guest's life on a plate.
Magic. Magic.
Today, actor and astrologer Russell Grant returns to rural Middlesex, where he grew up.
And I remember the toy cupboard here, which was all my toys.
A visit to his local church takes him straight back to a special time.
You look beautiful, Russ. All right, I'll say it. Go on, you look beautiful.
And talk of food brings back memories of his schoolboy favourites.
We used to have fantastic puddings. Look, my mouth is watering.
I'll be crafting dishes I hope he's going to love.
That smells brill.
Full of the taste of his childhood.
This is heaven on a plate.
Come with us now on a canal cruise, moving gently north through the heart of England.
The Grand Union Canal, joining London and Birmingham, goes straight past the village of Harefield in Middlesex, where Russell Grant was brought up. These days, it's prime commuter belt for London, which is only about 20 miles west of here. When Russell was growing up in the 1950s and 60s, rural Harefield, with its ancient church, was much smaller than it is now. Canal life connected it to the rest of the world, and today it evokes powerful memories for Russell.
The Grand Union Canal, which is where we're walking, used to be behind the little council flat that I was brought up in.
Right.
So we used to walk all the way along here, up to Black Jack's Lock, which is a local landmark.
Yeah.
So this is all very important to me because these barges, they had that lovely bum, 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 the engine noise. And when my brother and we shared a bedroom, used to hear that noise, it kind of lulled us up to sleep. It was always such a comforting sound. We felt cosy and snug and secure.
Russell was born 6 miles away in Hillingdon, and the family moved to Harefield when he was 18 months old. It was a big market garden area, servicing London's growing population's food needs.
They had orchards round here, did they not?
Oh, yes. You go to Poyle near Staines, in the south of the county, and that's where the Cox's Orange Pippin was born.
Oh, right. So did you go into the orchards and scrump the apples and take them home and...
Yeah, we did. But, I mean, because I was a very godly choir boy over at St Mary's Church, we used to have to do it when we didn't have our cassocks on, otherwise we'd have been unfrocked. But it was, you know, it was just happy days, really.
So what about memories of school?
It was lovely. I had my happiest times and my school dinners were the best. I still like to cook school dinners.
What are the dishes that you really remember?
I remember the pastry, the fabulous, wonderful pastry, melt in your mouth. And I remember a particularly delicious meal we used to have, which was like veal and pork together. It was a soft, lovely, sumptuous, juicy mixture. I think these days they call it pulled pork. and we used to have, of course, the fantastic puddings. Look, my mouth is watering. And school dinners were just an absolute treat. It was wonderful food. I salute the dinny ladies of Harefield.
Was your mum a good cook?
Not necessarily, no.
Right.
It was my two grandmothers.
Right.
My Nanny Alice, that's my mother's mum, she used to make the most amazing lamb, which wasn't called rack, it was Best End.
Yeah.
And my other grandmother used to make the most incredible fish. She used to own a fish and chip shop in Hackney.
What did Mum and Dad do?
They're at Pinewood Studios. My dad was a set designer.
Yeah.
He worked on big movies like Anthony and Cleopatra with Burton and Taylor.
Oh, right.
My mum was a contract secretary, so she would do all the big stars, Dirk Bogarde, Stuart Granger, Deborah Carr. But then, of course, the showbiz side came out in the village. That was my first treading of the boards.
How old were you then?
About 4 or 5.
No.
Yes. My mum was Dick Whittington, and I played the Pussycat. But I could never roll my R's, Brian. So I was the only cat in pantomime that had a lisp. I used to go pthur, because that was me. I couldn't purr.
That didn't stop him going on to drama school and a successful theatrical career. Umpteen parts took him to the West End and beyond. He loved musical theatre in particular. Russell's had an incredibly diverse career. In the last few years, he's entertained on TV shows, Strictly Come Dancing and Celebrity MasterChef. And in 2012 took over as the Wizard himself in the West End production of The Wizard of Oz. But it's as TV's starman since the 1970s that he's probably best known.
First of all, the moon's having a rather heavy time with Pluto up there, which could mean a very intensive day with feelings, so do watch out for that, all of you.
House astrologer on various shows and always with a larger-than-life taste in clothing.
It was strange, really, because I wanted to be a geography teacher or a history teacher or both.
Right.
And I ended up as an astrologer. But I actually started off in showbiz. So astrology was a hobby. That wasn't meant to be my job.
No.
It was all showbiz.
I'm picking up ideas for a tribute dish I'm going to create for Russell later on. Taking inspiration from the area he grew up in, with his history of fruit orchards, his childhood and love of school dinners, and the home cooking he loved so much.
Well, this is lovely.
Brings back memories.
Does it really?
Yeah. In the 1950s, somebody lived here. This wasn't a restaurant, but we weren't quite sure who, so in a kid's imagination, you used to think it was the Wicked Witch of the West.
For two men who love their puddings, there's an old-fashioned treat in store.
We got the chef here to make some blackberry and apple pie with cream.
Cream,
Thank
you very
just
much.
Just for us.
Here's your pie.
That looks delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the most delicious pie,
It's
isn't it?
very good, isn't it?
My nan used to make, this is Alice, used to make pastry to die for.
And I did hear that your family were really good at using leftovers.
Bubble and Squeak.
That's the one.
Yeah, loads of Bubble and Squeak. But what they used to do was they used to fry streaky bacon, and they'd have the bacon fat, and then you'll get the cabbage, the potatoes, mashed together and then fried. So it was all crispy on one side and then turned over.
Fantastic. But you see, it's one of the things that we miss out on today. Then it was saving money, threw nothing away, but actually, that was part of the tastiest bit, wasn't it?
It was wonderful. You'd have scrag end, which would make the most fabulous stews. I mean, now you go into these shishi restaurants as though they've just discovered it.
I can tell you that some restaurants sell for £7.50 a portion, dripping on toast to start with. Serious?
That's ridiculous. I mean, turkey dripping, beef dripping. My mum will tell you the best bit of Christmas is the turkey dripping the day after on hot toast with the brown gravy jelly. Delicious.
Did you ever eat that delicacy of jellied eels?
Love jellied eels, but love stewed eels better.
Right.
Pie, eels and mash, that was always a treat. My mum will tell you that the liquor that you would get from a pie and eel and mash shop was like mother's milk. That's what she'd say. Mother's milk.
And what about today? Do you still eat them?
But we're...
Sorry.
Where the pie and the mash shop's gone. It's so sad. Cook's in Shepherd's Bush is the one I went to a lot. And of course the mash is never this kind of silky mash that you get now in these top-class restaurants. It always had lumps in it. I mean, mash from a pie, eels and mash shop was always Lovely mash. It was comforting mash.
Do your Bubble and Squeak have lumps in it as well?
Oh, you had to.
Fantastic. Let's get the pie eaten.
Yeah, you can have the rest. Have I left too much?
No.
Good.
Cook's in West London has been an institution for 116 years. Russell's dad used to come and pick up that classic Cockney combo for the family on his way home from work. Pie and mash, and its inimitable liquor. Now, redevelopment of the local area means these buildings are about to be pulled down, and Cook's is closing. It's the end of an era, and they're having a party.
Well, I've never been to this place before, and as you can see from the queues, lots of people love it. They've been queuing for over 5 hours, I hear. Yeah, are you a regular here?
Well, I've started in the market when I was 11 and I'm 67 now, so
No.
this is my lunchtime break.
Oh, is it
so
really?
Another tradition we've lost.
So what are you going to do then next week?
Got no idea.
Well, whatever you do, don't lose any weight, because
I
you're
won't
looking
lose no
very
weight.
trim as it is. Did you come here regularly before?
Yeah.
How often?
Since I was a child, my mum and dad used to bring me here.
Do you eat it with liquor or do you eat it with gravy?
Liquor.
And what do you think goes in the liquor?
Anything, it doesn't matter.
You
It
still
tastes
love
nice.
It. Fantastic.
This family-run business has been bashing out quality bowls of pie and mash, soaked in their famous liquor for over a century. And Russell wasn't the only celebrity regular. Tommy Steele, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page, and The Who's Pete Townsend all ate here.
Now, do you mind if I join you just 2 minutes? I don't want to stop you eating.
Certainly.
So how long have you been coming here?
Probably about 40 odd years now.
Did your mum and dad come here before you?
And my granddad.
And how often did you used to come here in your
its day,
heyday?
every other weekend. I used to live quite local, Queen's Park, to do the football on the Saturday. We come here first, and it was like a meeting point for a lot of the fans. So it's going to be a shame for them as well. It's like our church, you know?
And it's interesting that you've got liquor, but your daughter's got gravy. Is that, which is right, which is wrong, or are they both?
Oh, see, that's why it's their first time.
Yeah.
Liquor, it's just something about it. You can't duplicate it.
Thank you very much.
Can't
Didn't mean
top
to
it.
disturb your lunch.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
thanks.
And you have some with some liquor on. Do as your dad tells you.
I can't wait to try some of this sacred liquor myself. Even on his last day, owner Mike Boughton is toiling in the kitchen. A man after my own heart.
Well, just like in all good catering operations, the nerve centre is where the bell rings. It's in the kitchen. Tell us what you're doing here.
We're just making pies. We're forming them on this semi-automatic machine.
How old is this machine?
This machine would be over 50 years old now.
Done a good job for you, has it?
It's made plenty of pies, Brian.
So how long have you actually been open here?
Well, my great-grandfather opened this up in 1899.
Now, I've never really understood why eels are sold with pie and mash. Who started that, for goodness sake, and why?
I've heard so many different stories. I was told once a Dutchman actually came up with the idea of the pie and the eels, and that could be possible because some of the finest eels actually come from Holland.
Yeah. Do most people that eat here have pie and mash and eels?
No, I would say the eels are much more of an acquired taste.
Do you like them?
I love them.
Oh, that's good to hear, that's good to hear.
I love them.
Resourceful EastEnders used eels from the River Thames as an affordable source of protein. As well as eating them in pies, they jellied them and stewed them. When cheap minced beef replaced eels in the pies, the liquor remained.
Tell us what the liquor is and why people love it so much.
Of course. The liquor is essentially a parsley sauce. It has nothing to do with alcohol. It has a fish stock base. There is potato water, a little bit of seasoning, and obviously parsley.
Does the recipe that you use stem back to your great-grandfather? Have you changed that at all, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty well adhered to what I was taught as a lad. I can't see how I could improve on it.
Some things don't need changing, do they?
Well, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't mend it.
Well, no, I couldn't agree more.
It's such a shame, then, that this family institution is saying goodbye to the Gold Hawk Road.
Today is the last day.
Yep.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Sad, happy to see many people that have been coming in here for many years. I just hope to continue somehow at some stage.
In the nicest possible way, Michael, you are an institution. You need to keep going one way or two. I'm going to go and see if I can get something to eat.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
And you,
Good
Brian.
luck. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.
Hi, is this free?
Yes.
Do you mind if I sit a well done?
Absolutely, come join me. I've just finished.
Good lad. This looks delicious.
You'll enjoy that.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to taste the liquor first, because that's what everybody goes on about, the liquor. Well, that liquor's quite interesting. It's not as strong as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be fishy, but it's not. Blooming good. I'm going to try the Eels. I tell you what, that's very good, is that? Now, do I have this chilli vinegar on here or on there? Do you know?
Pie,
Where do I put the chilli vinegar? In the pie? On this? And the Eels as well? Chilli vinegar everywhere. Grand, OK, so. There is something very British about a pie. And it's delicious.
Never get fed up with it.
What I've realised, though, is that Cook's has been more than just a bowl of tasty, nourishing food for the past 100 years. It's been part of this community's identity. And for these people, there will never be a pie, eels and mash that taste as good. In Harefield, St Mary's Church is the oldest building in the village, with parts of it dating back to the 12th century. This place is hugely significant for Russell, who discovered his lifelong passion for music and singing right here.
This is where my life really began, and it's where my life will end. I've already got a plot here. This is where I will be buried.
Really?
This is where my heart is and where my soul is.
What age were you when you first remember this church?
5, 6 years old. I joined the choir when I was about 7. This is where I started singing.
Right.
And my life is complete in here.
While Russell goes for a wander round his old village church, I'm going to get going with creating my first dish especially for him. We've set up a kitchen in the church grounds, and taking inspiration from Russell's description of his mum's thrifty use of dinner-time leftovers, I'm going to recreate one of his childhood favourites.
Well, I must be honest, I don't remember last time that I cooked in a churchyard where it was raining quite like this. However, Russell's inside, bringing back many happy memories, and I've got a dish here that I think is going to bring back other memories of his childhood. I'm going to do him a bubbling squeak and some sausage meat cakes as well.
This church is the most important building in my life. I was the head choir boy here. I started off as a chorister. We used to have choir practice on Thursdays, and I used to sit in the pews here. And all of my school friends, they were all in the choir with me. On wedding days, I used to earn a little bit of extra money by singing Ave Maria and Oh for the Wings of the Dove. And that was, my singing really started off here. Beautiful, beautiful music. And the times I would sit here and I would look at all of the words that were engraved into the parts of the church, and you'd think of the history that was here. And you can see there, Knight of the Shire for this county of Middlesex. This is probably where my love of Middlesex was born. Reading that all the time, all of this is terribly important. It's all my life wrapped up in this church. The memories here are engraved in my mind, body and spirit. And I just remember this as being the most amazing time.
Well, I've high hopes that my meal for Russell is going to be a similarly evocative experience. Of course, Bubble and Squeak is a classic leftovers dish, so I'm going to use potatoes, cabbage and carrots. I'm a fan of succulent roast chicken full of those deep oven-cooked flavours.
So I've got a bit of roast chicken leg left here. Take the skin off, chop that up, put it in there. Really tasty. I love Bubble and Squeak.
It needs a bit of salt and pepper. Then I'm really getting stuck in, roughly mixing the whole lot together.
This is beef dripping. Couldn't get turkey dripping that he loves, but got beef dripping.
Dripping was a staple in every post-war kitchen.
God, smells great, does that.
And those big, beefy flavours will enrich the dish with taste redolent of the 1950s.
One tip I can give you about making good Bubble and Squeak: don't do it in the rain, then the fat doesn't splash everywhere.
Throw the mash mix into the pan, spread it out evenly over the base, and leave it frying in that tasty beef dripping.
That looks lovely to me. Oh, we're going to love that.
Betty Washbrook was church organist when Russell first started singing at the tender age of 5. And she still puts in the odd performance today. Russell's never forgotten the way that Betty took him under her musical wing and encouraged him to find his voice.
Betty, you've not lost your touch.
Thank you, Russell. That's kind of it to say so.
And so beautiful, both you
darling.
and the music.
Bless you. Thank you, darling.
Betty's brought a photo along from her collection.
Well, this is a turn-up for the books.
Isn't it
This
just?
picture.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Look at me there. I look so small.
You were a tiny little boy, very angelic looking, aren't you, honestly? But how old would you have been then?
Oh, goodness me.
9 or 10?
Probably even younger,
Yeah,
7
could
or
be.
8, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
I look quite nice there.
You look beautiful, Russ. All right, I'll say it. Go on, you look beautiful.
But
then you were a very little boy, weren't you?
Betty.
Angelic, yes.
Oh,
well.
darling, thank you so much for making me sing.
Oh, good times, good day.
That's enough. We're going to cry soon.
Not yet.
Wistful.
I'll try not.
Northerner, see, northerner, tough. Not like us southerners, softies.
You've got to be as tough as old boots to be cooking out here, I can tell you. For my nostalgia dish for Russell, I've combined leftover vegetables with roughly chopped roast chicken, hand-fried in a rich beef dripping as my take on Bubble and Squeak. I'm using sausage meat and diced de-seeded tomatoes to make sausage cakes.
Put that in there.
And adding a big dollop of mustard for a bit of zing.
Russell?
Yes?
It's perfect timing day, fellow. Do you like mustard?
I love mustard.
Right, in that case, I'm going to put a little bit more in there.
Is that Dijon?
It is indeed, sir. Now, just be careful, because if this goes on the floor, we're in trouble. You ready?
Well,
Perfect.
and that's a fabulous colour.
That's what we wanted, is that?
The mixture should be sticky enough to hold its shape.
This is interesting you're doing this, Brian, because my nanny Lily used to use the leftover, like, beef or lamb and make her own little burgery type thing.
Oh, right.
Similar to this.
Do you know they used to call those rissoles?
Yes.
Seriously?
Patties, she
That's
used
it.
to call
well,
them.
You used to call them rissoles in Yorkshire.
That's right.
Dip the sausage cakes in flour, then dunk generously into beaten egg.
Get rid of the excess. Excess, do you get it?
I got it.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
In it, eh? That goes in there.
Coating the cakes in breadcrumbs, flattening a bit as you go, will mean they end up with a lovely crispy crust.
How was it inside the church? I heard the organ playing.
So it was lovely in there. So many memories, happy memories too.
And how often did you go to choir practice?
Every Thursday night.
And were you one of those goody-goody boys? You were always there?
I wanted to. It wasn't goody-goody. It was the fact I loved to sing.
And did you have that high-pitched soprano voice?
I did, yes. I had a particularly good voice, soprano voice.
Pan-fry the patties in another drop of beef dripping, if you've got it, or rapeseed oil until cooked through.
They look wonderful, Brian. I love sausage patties. Or rissoles.
Yeah. So, my bubble and squeak.
It looks
nice and
very,
hot.
very, very Yorkshire.
And then
And that looks
the sausage
lovely.
cake.
That really looks delicious, that sausage cake.
I want this dish to be full of nostalgia for Russell. The crunchy combination of bubble and squeak and those crispy, mouth-watering sausage cakes are designed to send Russell straight back to childhood in a mouthful.
Just a fork.
Just a fork. This looks wonderful. That is delicious, Brian. I love that.
I think that the amount of mustard we put in for you, for me, it was exactly how I like. It's just nice. It's just there.
It's juicy, it's delicious. The tomatoes give it juice.
There's more to come.
That is lovely.
Some people eat this with all kinds of pickly stuff.
Panyan pickle my nan used to bring out.
Oh, did she?
Don't make it anymore. What did you put in your bubble?
Crushed new potatoes, cabbage, carrots, and of course we used beef dripping.
That's always the thing, isn't it? The right dripping.
Yeah.
See? Even off camera, I'm still eating.
I know. You're never off camera on this show.
Long.
It's a joy to cook for someone who gets so much pleasure from eating unpretentious food. And you can't get much more basic than our daily bread. Russell's home village is just 6 miles from the birthplace of a revolution in bread production. In the 1960s, the boffins at a bakery research lab in Chorleywood developed a method which speeds up the baking process, producing a cheap, convenient loaf on an industrial scale. It became known as the Chorleywood process, and today, 80% of the bread we eat is made this way. However, there is a small but noisy backlash going on. 3% of our bread is produced by artisan bakers using traditional techniques.
I think in the 1960s, when the pressure was there for us to have cheap, convenient food, we sort of lost our bread culture a little. And one of the reasons I set up this company was to show people the full range of breads that you could make and how tasty and healthy bread can be.
Artisan baker Glenn Stevens gave up 25 years of earning the big dough in the city for the real dough of baking.
Well, Chorleywood bread process, typically a loaf is mixed, proved and baked, and the bake time is half an hour within an hour and a half. Whereas we take a very long time to make and bake our breads. Our sourdoughs will be 3 days. The other breads that we make will take 2 days.
And the proof is in the squeeze, apparently.
One of the things people say about Chorleywood bread is it's like eating cotton wool. And to show that, you can compress the bread quite easily with your fingers, that it stays very compressed. In fact, it will not come back at all. Then if you compare it to one of my white sliced loaves here, we're going to compress it in just as hard. You can see I'm pushing very, very hard. And then what happens is, magically the loaf comes back. That's because it's a lot stronger loaf because of my 2-day process.
Artisan baking demands dedication and determination. Even before the dawn chorus tunes up, the day's work begins. The basic dough, called a bread sponge, has been fermenting overnight. Then more flour, water and yeast are added.
If you mix it very vigorously, you oxidise it, and oxidation is basically staling. So the Chorleywood bread process has to use preservatives to stop the staling of its product, whereas because we don't use any preservatives, we extend the shelf life purely through mixing. So now what we're going to do is test the dough to see how well it's mixed. And we have a very old-fashioned test called the window pane test. And what we should be able to see is my fingers through it without the dough actually breaking at all. There you can see we have very nicely mixed dough.
Because Glenn doesn't use any additives, the dough has to proof for 2 more hours. It's then knocked back to get rid of any air bubbles and left for another half an hour.
So now we must leave the dough for its final rise before we bake it. And hopefully you can see today that the main ingredient that we have in our bread is actually thyme.
It's a painstaking process, but the real bread campaign is building momentum.
We're part of a movement of artisan bakers that are popping up all over the country because consumers realise how much tastier and healthier artisan bread is.
We're taking Russell on a trip down memory lane, and we're bringing him back to the flat he grew up in.
There it is. Brand new when we first walked in there, in about 1953, 54. It's going to be interesting to see if it's changed or how it's changed.
It must have been quite exciting in those days to come to a house like
brand
this.
New. It was brand new. Just that little bit at the bottom. We didn't have the top, but my overriding memory is always going to be that first day, the smell of a new house. It was that newness that you remember, and I remember most of all the open fire.
You get in there and I'm going to cook for you.
While Russell rediscovers his childhood home, we've set up my kitchen in the back garden under a very large umbrella. I'm drawing on everything I've learnt from my time spent with Russell to create my tribute dish for him, and I've got just the thing.
Now, Russell used to love lamb, and he used to love rack of lamb, so I'm going to do a rack of lamb for him. Slightly different. I'm going to put a herby crust on top and just roast it here on the plancha. So with some broccoli and some roasted potato, it'll be delicious.
This was Mum and Dad's room. Mum, Dad used to knock on the door. Weren't allowed in there. This was the lounge. Oh my goodness. Isn't it interesting? When you're a kid, it always looks so much bigger than it is now. We used to have an open fire, so we used to have coal in the 50s. And tiny, tiny little television set. It was only that big. I mean, as kids, you get the measles, you get all kinds of illnesses. And I used to lie on the couch, and I remember the fire being alight and that very comfy, cosy feel of a fire and lying there. And with my nan used to sit there because Mum and Dad were working, so my nan would come over and look after us. But the overwhelming feeling is how small these rooms are compared with when I first walked in here in the 50s when I was tiny.
Time flies.
It's a chefy thing, but I do like good presentation.
Don't take all the fat off. Fat gives it a bit of flavour, and that's just about ready. So I'm going to take a bit of oil, put it on the plancha here, or in a roasting pan, and I'm going to put it meat side down first, OK? I just want it to start to cook.
I want to get the herby flavour going with dried mixed herbs. A diced shallot softened in butter will help flavour the coating.
If you haven't got shallot, use a red onion. We don't really want to colour them, so keep taking them off the heat. We don't want to get them too dark. Look at that, that's already seared a bit there. It doesn't take long to cook this lamb.
Turn it and season with salt and pepper.
That's lovely.
Oh, they've done the kitchen beautifully. It's stunning. I remember this most specifically. It's where my mum used to keep her bike, and she'd cycle up to Harefield. Now, this is the bedroom where my brother and I slept, and my bed was along here, single bed, and I remember the toy cupboard here, which was all my toys. Can we get in now? Just to see. Yeah. It was filled with toys then. Now it's filled with frogs.
Things are gathering pace in the garden. I'm going to complete my herb coating using basil, chives and rosemary, all finely chopped.
So remember, we had the dried herbs cooking on the lamb, and now we've got these fresh herbs that we're going to put into the crust.
Add the cooked shallots and some melted butter to bind.
And then some fresh breadcrumbs go into this mixture here. The breadcrumbs need to soak up the butter so we get the right texture. Not too soft and not too dry. Let's put a little bit more in there. That's lovely.
And season.
That's going to be great, that is. That smells brill, does that?
Allow the lamb to rest for 5 minutes. Then brush the back with Dijon mustard.
I know that Russell loves mustard. That'll help the crust stick. Now, this time, we have to be just careful how we deal with this crust. Make sure it's not hot. This is OK. It's warm, but it's not hot. And then just put it on top to give that lovely, crusty-looking topping, but also it's got bags of flavour in there. Now, if you're going to put this back in the oven, the best way to colour that is actually under a grill. We haven't got a grill.
So I'm improvising.
And I'm going to put a cover over it. So I've almost made my own little oven. It won't get the same yellow golden crust on top, but it'll still be lovely to taste with that. So let's have a look at it in 5 minutes' time.
I'm going to serve it with broccoli and gravy, as well as something extra special for Russell.
We know that he likes crispy potatoes, so this is a potato and red onion roasted potato with salt and pepper and cooked in a bit of butter. It's lovely, nice and crispy around the edges, just as Russell loves it.
But I don't want to hurry Russell, who's immersed in his early years.
It was here we used to listen to the barges go past on the Grand Union, which is just over the fence. So my brother and I would lie here and you'd hear the barges chugging. And it was such a reassuring, lovely sound. But how peaceful it is now. That peacefulness is what I can really, really remember. Nothing's changed with the quiet.
It's all a sizzle out in the garden. My tribute dish for Russell is inspired by his childhood favourites. I've cooked a rack of lamb seasoned with dried mixed herbs. Then I lightly coated it with Dijon mustard and spread on the crust of fresh herbs, egg and breadcrumbs, and improvised a hot oven to finish. And with my broccoli, potato roasted and gravy ready to go, it's showtime!
First thing I've done, something really special for you.
Oh my goodness, that looks fantastic.
A little rack of lamb there, look.
Or its best end of neck.
Yeah, and I'm just going to let it sit for
Oh,
5 or
that
10 minutes.
lovely.
And relax a bit.
You've trimmed all this up though. My nan would have had the bits that you can gnaw on the bone.
I know, but it's the modern
You're a
way to
chef.
do it. We're just a little
You're
bit...
an old pro.
You're very special.
You're
so
an
I want
old
it to be,
pro.
I just want this to be really a meal that you really love.
Best
so we
end
got
of
down the
neck
go
loin
there.
of lamb.
And look, I wasn't going to do this, but when I saw how much
Rusty.
you loved... Exactly, a rusty. How much you loved Bubble and Squeak and
I
those
did.
crusty bits. So this is almost all crusty bits. Don't tell me you don't like...
Broccoli,
You
it's
do?
my favourite.
You sure?
Sprouting broccoli is lovely.
And over here, I've got this little bit of...
Gravy.
Stock, bit of gravy, that's right.
Oh,
I'm
you
glad
put
it- No, gravy, gravy.
Gravy.
Right, but I am going to put some butter in it.
Just a little.
Just look at that,
It
and it
looks
changes
wonderful.
colour, thickens it slightly.
I want to hit a balance between nostalgia and contemporary.
So that,
Oh, that
just
looks absolutely beautiful,
sits
Brian.
grand there. That
Look
doesn't
how
it?
crispy that looks.
I think I'm preaching to the converted.
Now I remember that your
Oh,
grandma
that looks lovely.
used to cook it quite well
She
done.
did.
So this isn't quite too well done.
But it's not bad, it's nice.
Thank you.
I'm comparing you to my nanny Alice here. You're almost as old as her. Go on.
I feel privileged.
Oh, it
So
looks
look at those.
beautiful.
If your grandma or Auntie Mary's coming and they like it well done, pour the sauce over the top. They'll never know.
They'll never know the
till
difference.
it's too late.
For me, it's a delicious prospect. Roast rack of lamb with a herb crust, served with a crispy potato rosti, broccoli and gravy. It's my way of paying tribute to Russell and his colourful story.
I knew you'd go for the big one.
Well, I didn't know it was big because I'm
Yes,
looking at
you
it
did.
from the top.
All right, okay, if you say so.
It is fantastic. And the gravy is like a rich, thick, gooey sauce. The potato is to die for. You couldn't eat it any other way. The rusty. This is heaven on a plate. You're a very clever man.
Thank
You've
you, sir.
cooked in the rain and you've created a masterpiece.
In your old back garden.
Where I used to put on little shows.
Yeah. Did you really?
You had to pay a penny to see me. I'm even cheaper now.
So is that a good end to the day?
I don't want it ever to end.
How has the day been for you? What was the best bit?
The church.
I could see that when I saw your eyes when you came out.
That building means everything to me. And the memories I've got from that church will live on forever.
Here's to memories, huh?